Hello everyone and welcome to the Concur training tutorials. In this video, I'm going to show you how to allocate your expenses in your expense report. So I'm currently inside of my expense report and I have my expenses already listed out. Currently, these expenses are going to default to the funding that we have listed on our report header. So if we navigate into report details and click into report header, I'm going to scroll down to where the project SOPF information is. So this is where my expense report is currently defaulting to. I can also go into the allocation summary. And we can see here that it's currently defaulting to what we have listed on our header at 100%. So let's say for this example, I wanted to split all of my expenses into two funding sources. Before I get into that, one thing to note is that if you have a hotel expense, it needs to be itemized before you're able to allocate it. We do have a separate video on how to itemize your hotel expense, so if you're not sure how to do that, please make sure to go ahead and watch that video before you try to itemize your hotel. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and check on this box on the upper left-hand corner. This is going to select all of my expenses, and I'm going to click on the allocate button. So we currently do not have any allocations listed. So I am going to click add. And let's say for this example, I want to split this in half between two funding sources. So I'm going to go ahead and select this funding sources. This is what we had on our header. So I'll go ahead and click save. So we can see here that this is currently being allocated at 100% to the business application funding source. I'm going to go ahead and add the second funding. And I'll hit save. So now we can see that we have two funding sources listed here. It's split in half, 50-50. And if we needed to change that for any reason, we could. Currently, this defaults to percentage view. If you needed to allocate by amount, there is a tab at the top for amount. So we can see here that it's split between $590 for both of the funding sources. If you needed to adjust that, you could. For this example, we're going to stick to the percentage view. So if I needed to change the percentage for one of the funding sources, I could do that here. So let's say that I needed to charge 80% to this funding source. It will automatically adjust the second funding source to 20% so that it equals 100%. We're going to go ahead and stick to the 50-50 for this example, and we'll hit save. All right. So now over on the right-hand side, we can see that all of our expenses have been allocated. If we click into one of the allocations, we could see that it's been split between the two funding sources that we just added in. And it's at 50% for each one. We can also double check in our allocation summary. So we can see here that our expenses have been split between these two funding sources. Okay, let's say that I actually didn't want to split the airfare expense between the two funding sources, and I just wanted to have this charge to one funding. I can go ahead and check the airfare expense and click allocate. Another way where you can allocate is by going into the expense. And there is an allocate button up at the top. So what we can do is we can remove the funding that we don't want. So I'm going to go ahead and check that and remove it. So now the airfare expense is going to be allocated to business applications at 100%. We'll click save. All right, so we'll go ahead and save the expense. So now if we go over to the airfare allocation, we could see that it's no longer being split into two. It's now under the one funding source that we kept at 100%. All of the other expenses should remain the same, so it's still at the 50-50 for the rest of the expenses. If we needed to remove an allocation for a specific expense, we could go into that expense type. We'll click on the allocate. And let's say that we didn't need to allocate the taxi. So we'll go ahead and check these boxes so it selects both, and we'll click remove. All right, and now we'll click save. And we'll save the expense. So now you can see over on the right-hand side that the taxi is no longer allocated. If we made a mistake and let's say that we just wanted to remove all of the allocations that we just entered, then we can go ahead and check on all of the expenses. We'll click allocate. And we'll get a warning that lets us know that some of the expenses that we've selected have already been allocated. So if we continue, that it'll overwrite what we've already done, which is fine. That's what we want to do. So we'll go ahead and continue. All right, so now there are no allocations listed, and that's what we want because we want it to remove them. So we'll go ahead and click save. Okay, so now over on the right-hand side, you can see that they are no longer allocated. If we navigate back into the allocation summary, we could see that it's no longer split between the two funding sources. It's now at the funding source that we originally had on the report header at 100%.